From the recreational heartland of Ontario, you're watching CKVR.
Bill Harrington was our station's first news announcer in 1955. By the 60s, things were a little more organized. Evening Report was CKVR's newscast. There were even jackets for the anchors.
It was always in live mode.
By 1979, the look would change again. Our news department would start identifying itself with one of its most familiar brands, Total News.
Good evening, I'm Mike Jaworski.
And I'm Kevin Frankish. Coming up later on sports, we'll tell you that the Major League Baseball season has come to an end, or the regular season, that is.
Stand by.
Good evening. Officials at Bata's Shoes in Toronto are tight-lipped tonight. They're not talking about the kidnapping.
Good evening. This is the Total News Update. The free trade agreement came under fire today from a group of environmentalists.
Today on Total News, winter in the Maritimes, continuing the shellfish ban, and the Saints score a big overtime win. Good afternoon. A British Columbia man charged with murder returned to court in Barrie this morning. Destroyed their home in King Township, and an historic flight. In sports, a big weekend for Canada's ski team. Good evening. The RCMP have closed in on a major drug trafficking ring with its home base in Barrie.
Total News, a tradition of excellence at 5:30.
Tonight on Total News, a new trial, our new look, and a new basketball star. Good evening. As you can see, we have a new look tonight here at Total News.
On Total News tonight, unemployment continues to rise. A masterpiece in the works. And in sports, the Maple Leafs shuffle their lineup. Good evening. The latest statistics from Stats Canada prove what most Canadians already know.
And now, the Kitchen Tire, Harper Tire, Total News Update.
Coming up next on the Total News Site Report, the leader of Ontario's official opposition met tonight with concerned residents in Bolton.
Tonight on Total News, last goodbyes to teenaged victims. A bombing suspect under arrest.
It's a remarkable day in the history of the FBI.
And breezy and cool.
CKVR Total News with Sharon Burkhart, Bob McIntyre with weather, and Kevin Marks on sports. CKVR Total News at 6.
Good evening. The issues are hunting, fishing, and trapping. Our top story tonight.
In the news tonight, more calls for 911 service in Barrie. A noisy protest in Victoria Harbour.
And high-class hoops in Markham. CKVR Total News with Cindy Burgess, Bob McIntyre with weather, and Kevin Quinn on sports. CKVR, The Late Report.
Good evening. A gruesome find tonight in the town of Markham. Skeletal remains, possibly those of a baby, have been discovered in a park at Denison and McCowan.
Tonight on Total News, a grisly discovery near Orangeville. A shelter in need.
And the Leafs attempt to get back on track.
CKVR Total News with Sharon Boord, Allison Ansley with weather, and Doug Wilson on sports. CKVR, The Late Report.
Good evening. A horrific find in the town of Caledon this weekend.
Tonight on your 6 o'clock report, icy water on South Lake Simcoe. Apartments for rent, plenty of them.
If somebody's looking for an apartment,
You would find one very easily here in this town.
And help wanted at the fire department.
CKVR Total News with Sharon Burkhart, Bob McIntyre with weather, and Kevin Quinn on sports. CKVR Total News at 6.
The proof is in the pictures. They show new pressure cracks on Lake Simcoe, opening up dangerous, wide areas of open water. Good evening. Tonight, a warning for your weekend. Ice conditions this winter remain far from ideal.
Tonight on the Lake Report, pressure crack warning on Lake Simcoe. Arrest made in Aurelia bank robbery. And in sports, it's time once again for the Athlete of the Week.
CKVR Total News with Shereen Mansour, Bob McIntyre with weather, and Kevin Quinn on sports. CKVR, the Lake Report.
Good evening. You've heard the warnings before. Stay off the ice.
Today on VRland News.
Heading north and staying safe this holiday weekend.
Just slow down and then relax and enjoy the drive.
Out on the line in Vaughan.
We're looking for a modest increase in our wages.
And previewing Kempin Fest live from Barrie's waterfront.
From Newmarket to Barrie, from Aurelia to Parry Sound, it's VRland News.
Good afternoon. We are on the road and on the beach getting ready for a great holiday weekend.
I think it's ridiculous and they're holding our children hostage.
Good afternoon. The turmoil in education continues this noon hour with rotating strikes spreading across VRland.
The car started flipping end for end.
My priority is to represent the people that are riding to find out what the local concerns are.
I'm very excited just to be playing out here, and especially with all the talented players.
From Halliburton to Cookstown, Minden to Markham, it's VRland News.
Good afternoon. We've got lots to tell you about today, including another robbery at the United Way in Barrie.
31, this is Breakfast Television.
Good morning, I'm Laura Hampshire in the VR News Center. Winter has arrived in some areas this morning. As you can see from our live camera in Aurelia, it may soon be time to break out the old Bing Crosby music, as we should expect wet flurries for most of the day. Currently we're sitting at the freezing mark, but the wind chill makes it feel more like -9 degrees. Some Port Severn elementary school students are getting a second day off because of an oil spill.
Anne-Marie Green, Bob McIntyre, Rob Malcolm. This is VR News, live at 11.
Good evening, everyone. Kids playing with matches, getting the...
Lance Chilton, Bob McIntyre, George Bryson. This is VR News, live at 11.
Good evening. 3 people escaped a burning home today in...
Sharon Pocious, Mike Lane, Casey Colby. This is VR News, live at 6.
Good evening. After 24 hours of deliberations, a coroner's jury has decided the death of a...
Tonight, watching the water. Muskoka bracing for major flooding.
You know, I would be worried about it coming into the house and getting into the basement and filling that up.
Liberals take charge. Cigarettes going up, tax breaks going away.
I live on a fixed income, which isn't perfectly high. So I was looking forward to getting that tax break.
And a jury wants the convicted sniper put to death.
Jane Pritchard, Lance Chilton, Bob McIntyre. This is VR News, live at 6.
This was the scene at our Muskoka Bureau about 1 hour.
Tonight, chaos averted. TTC and its union reach a tentative deal.
Sharon Pocious, Mike Lane, Casey Colby. This is VR News, live at 11.
Good evening. Hundreds of thousands of public transit users as well as motorists are breathing a collective sigh of relief tonight.
It's Monday, March 5th, looking out over the city of Barrie. An Arctic air mass is moving our way, bringing nasty conditions. Hello, I'm Sharon Pocious of the A-Channel News Center, and here's what's making news today.
From A-Channel News this morning.
There are weather warnings in effect for right across our region.
The Year in Review 2006, an A-Channel News special.
Good evening.
Tonight on A-News at 6.
MPs are back to work on Parliament Hill with all sides calling for a little more civility. Coming up, we'll find out if MPs were actually able to play nice during question period.
A devastating fire in Queensville has a family counting its blessings. Coming up, I'll tell you why they feel especially lucky.
My immediate thought was, he's gone. He's gone.
It was a rather loud and rowdy weekend in this East End Barrie neighborhood. 14 charges in all laid by police.
This is A-News at 6.
Good evening. A family near Queensville who lost their home to a fire on the weekend has managed to find a silver lining in their tragedy.
Tonight on A-News at 11.
A woman is stabbed to death in downtown Barrie.
This is A-News at 11.
Barrie has recorded
tonight.
Environment Canada has issued a wind chill warning for most of our region. Tonight, I'll show you how people are protecting themselves from the bone-chilling temperatures.
You can't see them, but you can sure hear them. They're called bobblers, and they sit under the water and prevent ice from forming around docks. They become a bit of an issue here in Muskoka. Tonight, we'll tell you how they work and the concern that some people have.
CTV News with Tony Grace.
Good evening. Our top story tonight is the weather, and we'll begin with some news from our highway.
A 20-year-old Caledon man has died after being found next to a ski run here at Blue Mountain this morning. Tonight, we'll tell you what happened and the many unanswered questions that remain.
Approximately a third of the way up the hill on what we call skier's right-hand side, and yes, in the trees is where the individual was found.
A man wanted for murder has been arrested following a massive manhunt here in Bradford. Coming up, how police tracked him down and why another person is also facing charges.
It was just intense, crazy. There was cops everywhere, guns everywhere.
A huge Olympic celebration for Gabby Galeman. The teen from Newmarket performed in front of the world today, and at her old elementary school, they were watching her every move.
I think it's great. Like, we all know her, and we all are super proud of her.
CTV News with Tony Grace and Jane Pritchard.
A young snowboarder is dead after veering off a groomed slope on Blue Mountain. It happened late last evening.
Tonight,
a summer of delays on Highway 400.
You just got to sit back, relax, and take it easy.
Where to expect a longer wait on the drive, and why this work is being done. Plus, a call to ban dump trucks in parts of Cookstown.
Loud, yeah, very busy. It's not quiet.
Community concerns over safety and damage. And preparing to soar over Wasaga Beach.
We did wedge, which is the one where we switch position.
A preview of the Snowbirds performance at this weekend's Heroes Festival.
CTV News with Tony Grace.
Good evening. The always busy summertime drive up Highway 400 promises to be a little more so this summer.
Tonight.
Did 3 years of disagreements come to an end tonight over the location of a new high school for Barrie? The important vote held at Barrie City Council.
CTV News with Jane Pritchard.
Good evening. It was hoped an important vote tonight at Barrie City Council would end 3 years of debates and delays.
Tonight.
Making progress against COVID-19.
The measures we've taken so far are working.
A look at the new models released by the federal government. Plus, preparing for a second wave.
We know for sure that this is not over.
RVH begins to increase its critical care capacity. And helping the homeless during the pandemic.
We are creating safe spaces for people that are experiencing homelessness.
What's being done to ensure their safety?
CTV News with Candace Daniel.
We are observing slowed epidemic growth and a leveling off of epidemic trajectories across most jurisdictions in Canada.
Federal ministers release updated models for the COVID-19 outbreak, showing the spread of the virus has leveled off in some provinces, but warn we could have nearly 67,000 cases by next week. Good evening, everyone. As the number of daily COVID-19 cases appears to be descending across much of the country.
Tonight.
Open for curbside business.
It feels awful great to be back in business.
Will this partial reopening help local retailers bounce back? Plus, a closer look at the COVID-19 case count in Simcoe, Muskoka. More seniors have died, but the recoveries offer hope. And frost fears for farmers.
If we were in bloom throughout the Georgian Bay, this would be a really nasty night.
How the cold weather is affecting crops.
CTV News with Candace Daniel.
Good evening, everyone. In the most significant move yet to reopen Ontario's economy, stores with a street entrance were able to offer curbside delivery and pickup to their customers.
Desk to mobile.
Total News, a team that works for you. Total News, 7 days a week on CKVR-TV.